Hey, would you look at that? We got another G Frame box. I'm a bit late to the party on this one. This has been out for a few weeks. I actually got mine in about a couple weeks ago. I just haven't opened it yet because I went on vacation pretty much a few days after, and I just didn't have a chance to film anything before then. But this G Frame set includes the ground type Gundam, the Gundam G 5 and the gun cannon. And I'll be completely honest, the gun cannon does not really interest me all that much. I mostly got this for the Gundam G 5, and then the ground Gundam is pretty cool too. So upon opening it up, I noticed I hit the jackpot once again, and I got duplicates of the ground Gundam and the G 5, which means if I choose to eventually sell stuff off, I've got the ones that people want the most, because those two are the ones that people are after. The gun cannon is not so much. But let's get all these out. And let's have a look at, let's see, these are our two packs for the ground Gundam. We have the frame and armor for the G 5 and the frame and armor for the gun cannon, and then the 4 extra boxes. So, I actually don't really have anything good to compare this, do any like comparisons of this lot, because I don't have a ground Gundam of any type. I don't have a gun cannon of any other type, so the really only thing I actually have is the Gundam G 5, which is probably my favorite RX-78 variant, to be completely honest. It looks great. But anyways, let's start by cracking into the gun cannon. I realize I should probably actually do a video recording of the actual arming up the figure process. So, if you're unfamiliar with G Frame, what you get is one box contains the armor and a static inner frame. So this gun cannon here that I'm putting together right now, it's not gonna move. It can move at the shoulders, but that's really just because it's a peg, and then the hands are on ball joints, and then the head would also be on the ball joint. I'm not even gonna bother. But you get the other box has the inner frame, and for some reason this is in 2 parts. Usually these are stuck together. The other box also includes the weaponry. So you can get a static figure, which is honestly not a bad thing. It's actually quite the good-looking statue, but you want the inner frame part. And then gun cannon here also has a boulder to grab onto and hurl. Yeah, that's a thing. I should actually look at the instructions for this one because it's a bit different. The G frames are pretty much universally the same. That is not the right box. Here is the box I was looking to get. But yeah, no matter what, they pretty much force you to buy both sets, because there's no way. Because I mean, you'd have a gun cannon or really any of these things if you just buy the static figure. You're missing out on the weaponry. So let's get this guy snapped up, and is that right? That is backwards. Whoops. The head, it's just a ball joint. It's not around like an inner frame for the head, but we gotta take the torso a part here. I really like how the torsos are designed for this, because you have just 2 little pieces on the side that go in like this, and that makes up the abdomen area where you have like the ab crunch movements, and then you put the armor pieces on top. Is that on right? Yes, it is. You put like the main torso armor pieces on top, I mean. And it's a pretty good functional torso. Because it's got a really nice range of articulation. The arms are probably going to be super straightforward. So these figures are usually have like the same construction in how they're all put together. And this guy seemed like the easiest to do, so that's why I decided to film armoring up this one in particular, but it also seems, I'm not sure, but it's pretty straightforward. The arms, the forearms are 2 halves sandwiched. The upper arms, is this 2 halves sandwiched? Oh, yeah. Oops. I forgot. The arms are not like sandwiched around this way, they're this way. Whoops. Like that. So keeps you from having a nasty looking seam line going down the middle of the arm. Although on the gun cannon it wouldn't really matter because he's got a panel line there anyways. The waist section is always the same on these. The side skirts go on hinges, and then the front and back skirts just plug right in. And yeah. See how it's coming along? It's actually pretty nice. I'll give him his backpack and his cannons. And there goes this back armor piece. But yeah, it goes together fairly simply. After you've gotten one of them together, you pretty much know how they all go together. So I'm just gonna finish up the leg here, and I will cut to the finished product, so you don't have to watch the same thing over again, because the section of the video is already about 6 minutes long, and that's a lot longer than I was expecting. The frame on the legs of this one is a bit different than the others because it has this big chunk here of exposed framework. How did the feet work on this one? Does it just slide in? No, okay, it actually does separate. I can't tell that this right here is supposed to be separation. It just looks very much like a panel line. And then you just put the foot in there, and voila. And that's how a G frame goes together. Yeah, let's get the rest of this guy armored up and look at his articulation. And as always, G frame impresses me yet again. This is the one I was least looking forward to in this series, and I still love it. Articulation is standard for G frame. You got a hinge neck and then a ball joint at the head. You got a hinge ball joint at the shoulder, swivel at the shoulder, bend at the elbow, ball jointed wrist. You got that really nice ball jointed abdomen area. So you got left and right, in and out pretty well. Hinges for the side skirts, ball joints for front skirts. Legs go forward really far, backwards really far, out really far. Swivel at the waist, double jointed. Is it double jointed? Well, I think it's double jointed. Really, really nice bend in the knee. You got a hinge up here for the foot, and then you got the hinge and ball joint in the actual foot, and this armor is coming apart. But yeah, it's great articulation. The hand options are open fist, or not holding hand fist, and open hands. Weapon options, you've got the standard gun cannon beam rifle, and then you've got this the boulder, which he can hold with both open hands, or you can split it apart and just kind of lay it down, and the box shows right here he's using it for cover, and that is really cool. I'm not a big fan of him just hurling the boulder, but using the rocks for cover is a really cool idea. But yeah, that's the G Frame gun cannon. It's really cool. It makes me want to get all the other G Frames I missed out on, because even though I didn't really care enough for them at the time, now I'm really starting to want to get all the others. Like usual with G Frame, you have a leftover static inner frame that is completely, utterly useless. I find it interesting that the arms are just the same exact arm. There's no left-right specific, because the place where the hands would go they have a cutout on the same side. So you have like the cutout on the inside here and on the outside here. It's weird. But yeah. Anyways, next we're gonna have a look at the ground type. So before I actually crack into the ground type Gundam, I realized I didn't actually show off a good size comparison for these guys. They're smaller than 1/144 scale, but they're larger than the mobile suit and action figures. So since I don't really have any other gun cannons, I'm just going to show them off next to the high grade Origin Heavy Gundam. It's a P Bandai high grade. I really like the Heavy Gundam. And it's a shame it's always P Bandai, but so you can see it's a little shorter. Goes about up to the shoulders. A gun cannon would be right around the same height as a regular RX-78, so it is just a smidge smaller than 1/144 scale. Probably closer to like 1/150th, 1/155th scale or something like that. But yeah. Anyways, I also just realized I didn't actually show the contents of the box when I opened them. I just kind of opened them and went straight to assembly. So let's just get both of these sets out. And of course, every single box set, as if you're getting these from Japan, comes with a piece of chewing gum, because candy toys. So yeah, this is basically how they look all right out of the box. You get pretty much the entire figure, main figure built. You just gotta put the arms, the shoulders, the head, and the feet and the backpack on. But why would you do that? Because you're just stripping this down anyways. Because this is what you want to actually put the stuff on. Of course, we got the inner frame right here, but we also had to actually make this a bit more value, I guess. We also got the shield. We got a gym head. We've got the the machine gun. We've got, I can never remember what this is called, but we also got a little mount for something. I don't quite know. Oh, that's for the shield. The shield can be used to actually rest down, so he can put this over it. Yeah, that's how they come packaged. So let's actually get the ground type Gundam armored up, and I'll give you a look. Now, something I did kind of want to show off is just what it looks like when you fully arm up the static frame. This is the pose you get. And quite honestly, if you're just kind of going to leave it standing there, this is probably the pose that you want it to have. It's pretty much perfectly posed for a simple static standing figure. And that's usually how I display them anyways. I just really like having the posable options. I would much rather a figure have the ability to give it different poses than to not have it at all. That's why I'm much more of an action figure collector than I'm a statue collector. But this, it really does look good in just the static pose that the static frame has. And here's the ground type Gundam with the full posable inner frame. It's the same articulation as every G frame, so I'm not going to go over that again. But this is a pretty impressive looking figure. The backpack has trouble staying on. Don't know why that's the case. That's not really an issue I have with G frame. But this thing really shines with its accessory loadout, even if it's not all that much. First off, we get the gym head. If you've watched 8th MS Team, you know that there is a ground type Gundam that had to have its head replaced with a gym ground type head. And that's really cool that they actually included that as one of the accessories. It just looked good. I still prefer the Gundam head look, but so I'm gonna keep that. But that's really nice. You got the little machine gun here. Unfortunately, the stock thing doesn't move, but you've also got this the big cannon, and I love it. It's nice and big. He can hold it as long as he doesn't have his shield on. He can hold it with two hands. And it's not even that difficult. Doesn't look great, but he can hold it with two hands. Like so. Additionally, my favorite thing it can do is it has this. So you can mount the shield like that, and then you can have the ground Gundam crouch in. And I'm sorry, this is not a very well thought out, done pose, but that's kind of what that's for. And I love that it includes that. It's really nice. So the ground type Gundam definitely is a good figure to pick up out of this. So far, I'm still thinking this has the least value, but and it's probably gonna stay the same with the G05 since that's my favorite of these. But this is definitely a good figure to pick up. Nice small ground type Gundam. It's a really, I'm pretty sure it has most of its accessories. Would have been nice if we could have gotten an Easy 8 though, because the next set comes with a Goof Custom, and can't really have a Goof Custom without an Easy 8 now, can you? So I'm getting ready to do these, and I realized I didn't give a good size comparison with a 1:144 scale. So as you can see, this guy's actually quite small. A little bit smaller than Gun Cannon, actually. Yeah, Gun Cannon's actually a little taller. That's not quite, they're not quite to scale with each other, but you know what, that's fine. They don't have to be. We have here the G Frame armor and frame for the G05, and man, this is where this set shines for me. The G05 is my favorite ARC 78 variant, and unfortunately there's not many figures and kits of it. For figures you have MSIA and you have fixed figuration. And there may be more, but that's pretty much all I know. There might be some Gashapon and such out there as well. For model kits, we have the Master Grade, which I will be showing off a side-by-side comparison with. But yeah, let's crack these open. So this is the armor. Same fare as we get with everything else. And the frame. Once again, similar fare to everything else we normally get. But yeah, this looks really nice. It's got a nice looks like we got some nice segmented ammo belts for his machine gun, so that looks fun. So let's get this guy all put together, and I'll show you what it's like next to the Master Grade. Alright, so here is the Gundam G 05. So this is definitely my favorite of all of them. It's probably not the best figure. I think the ground type Gundam is actually a better figure than this, but this thing looks great. So it does have some issues in the fact that it's very difficult to have the ammo belt actually attached to the canister back here. It's supposed to attach via ball joint all the way through here, but in order to have him actually shooting it off like he's shooting it off right here, it's quite difficult. Additionally, I'm not gonna really take him out of this pose just because I like it so much, and it's just the chain is kind of a bit of a pain, but you can mount the Gatling onto the back skirt right here and use his standard issue beam rifle instead. It's a very plain ARC-78, a bit more detail. Very flat beam rifle though, so I wouldn't really use it anyways. So for a size comparison, so yeah, he's kind of in a bit of an action pose, but you can see he's still smaller than a 1:144 scale. But I'm just gonna show him off to his brother here, the G Frame Mudrock. This is the Gundam G06 basically. It's a great figure, but it's also this is also gonna be the only way to get the three brother units in the same figure line or scale pretty much, because actually no, the fixed figuration you can get them all three of them, but this is probably the easiest way because the Gundam G04 is coming out in the next lot of G Frame, and I'm super excited for that one because it includes the G04, the full armor Gundam, the regular MSV1, not Thunderbolt, and the Goof Custom. It's going to be a really cool set. But I did say I was going to show it off next to the Master Grade, so here it is. And the Master Grade definitely has its issues. It has a lot of trouble actually holding the weapon up. As you can see, it's slouching a lot. It's still a great kit. It just does need some work, and I can say the same for this figure. Especially the Gatling gun, it's missing a lot of color in there. The backpack is all wrong. The backpack on this guy's all gray, gunmetal gray, and there's not a single shred of gunmetal gray on the backpack. Additionally, there's some color apps missing. That's normal for G Frame. Articulation-wise, G Frame blows the Master Grade out of the park. Affordability also, but it does need some work, and this is probably going to be the first G Frame I actually do work on. But yeah, it's still a great figure. I just want to make sure this guy gets his justice because it is a really cool mobile suit. Additionally, this is the upgraded G05. The regular G05 doesn't have the Gatling gun, and it has different shoulders. I can actually show that off with this. I believe the shoulders, there's actually a shoulder underneath, and that's the regular shoulder, and then the upgraded version has these shoulders. So this is the upgraded G05. It's got no options for the regular version, but I Still love this figure. It is awesome and definitely a good addition to have. So that wraps up this set of G Frame figures. And wow, I am amazed. This is probably the best set I've gotten so far. It's just because I feel like all of these are really nicely done figures. I don't feel like there's one of them that was very particularly poorly done. Like in the case of the last set, the Narrative Gundam C-Types it felt not quite up to par with the rest. But this one, I feel like all these are very solid figures and definitely worth picking up. Especially the ground type Gundam. It's a really good figure for your value. The G05 is also fantastic, and if you like both of those, you may as well just get a whole box set and get yourself the gun cannon as well, because it's actually quite cheap. These box sets go for about $50, so you get 3 figures, plus since the ground type Gundam is mass produced and you get 2 of them in a box, there you go. You can have 2 ground type Gundams. So that's pretty cool. But anyways, thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye.